Gaming is in this weird state where it's not really enjoyable to play. I find myself playing a lot of the same games because a lot of the newer games really aren't worth it. You either find a game that is lackluster because there wasn't enough production time put into it, or you find a game that is really pay to win or orientated around the company making money. And then there's also games that rebranded themselves, like there's Saints Row, and then there's Dying Light 2, some new releases, and neither really have good reviews. And it kind of just, you look at those reviews and you're like, I don't want to buy that game. And it kind of makes you sad because Saints Row, like Saints Row 2, Saints Row 3, and even Saints Row 4. Saints Row 4 controversial, unpopular opinion, but I really liked Saints Row 4. It was the first one I played, and then I played the rest later on. I think most of the Saints Row games in the series are really good, other than Gat Out of Hell. That's kind of, and then they had Agents of Mayhem, which isn't really Saints Row, but it orientated around it. And then there's Dying Light 2. Dying Light 1, phenomenal. I love the game. The game is so amazing. But then Dying Light 2, I've also heard some alright things about it. I heard it's not the best, but you have these gaming companies that try to top their old games, and we see that a lot, and especially now. And they're making Gotham Knights, and it's hard to be hyped about it. Like Batman Arkham Knight, Batman Origins, all the Batman Arkham series. I loved them. Even Origins, which is kind of controversial, it's still a really good game. It's just like you can't help but be nervous for the state of the game, because not only is it, I think, a different company who's making, I think it's Warner Brothers Studios, making the game again, like how they did for Origins. But it's like, I heard they were gonna have health bars on the enemies. I don't know, maybe they changed those things, but it's still very scary. It's hard to get hyped up for a game when these companies are money grabbing, or they aren't putting enough effort into it. And really, that's also, I guess you could say, money grabbing, right? They grab an old title and then they make a new game about it. But the connection between them is that there's no one has really good effort, and then the other one is just to grab on the popularity of the old game. And when you combine them together, it's a low effort version of the old game. And this was also seen in Dead Rising. Dead Rising 1, 2, and 3. Amazing games. I love Dead Rising 3. I played it like 6 times and beat it 6 times. Then they made Dead Rising 4, which they only had in production for about a year. And don't get me wrong, personally, I like the game. I was going to play it on every single difficulty, and then I went to the hardest, and I was like, fuck this, I hate it. And I stopped. I can't find myself going back to it, really. I feel like the open exploration of Dead Rising 4 is there, but it's not all there. It's kind of like missions, and it's not really the same game. It just kind of feels like there could have been more and more in the story. But don't get me wrong, I still enjoyed the game. That's an example of a kind of a lackluster reboot. But there are some good reboots, like God of War, right? They rebooted the game in 2018, I think. I don't quite remember the date. But it came out to be a huge success. A lot of people liked it. I never played it personally, but I've seen gameplay and it looks really good. So, I mean, there's still a little hope. But I find myself sticking to a lot of free games like Fortnite, Fall Guys, and Warzone. And even with Warzone, they released the Warzone 2 beta, and it's really buggy. And if it's really with any Call of Duty, right? Cold War, the stories are usually always good. They're really good. But then you have the multiplayers, which is what you always come back for, right? You play the story a few times, but then you're like that multiplayer. You want to get that prestige, especially in a Call of Duty game. And then you have games that are like Black Ops 4, which I'm pretty sure very little people liked. And then Cold War is alright. But then they have like Vanguard, which is another mediocre, but I wouldn't say it's a good game. And they have all these reboots, and they keep on making the same game. Another thing is Ubisoft. Ubisoft used to be a great company, right? And very memorable. And now they release pretty dog shit games. I mean, they're not dog shit, but they're like not the best. They released Watch Dogs Legions. Personally, I enjoyed the game. I enjoyed the London aspect of Watch Dogs Allegiance, and I enjoyed playing it. I just think the multiplayer basis of the game really boring, nothing to do really. I bought my friend the multiplayer version so we could play, and we stopped playing after a week. I feel like what kind of defines a game is if you can go back to it, right? For an example, Rockstar made Red Dead Redemption 2. Love that story. They didn't release a new one for like, they released Red Dead Redemption 1 a long time ago, and they didn't release a new one for like years. And they came back strong. It was really good. But even then, they gave up in the online. And a lot of people, you'll find yourself playing the online version a lot more than the story mode, right? Because once you beat the story mode like 3-4 times, you're like, okay, I've done it a lot. Unless you want to get all the achievements or something. But I feel like what defines a good game is that you can come back to it. Multiplayer or story mode. I think the multiplayers where Red Dead Redemption 2 kind of fell. And it's just like Watch Dogs Allegiance, no multiplayer. You play the story once, it's not really that memorable. Because the idea that you could be anyone, amazing. But then you realize a lot of the people kind of are the same. And there's just not really many unique people. And the unique people are hard to find, but all the normal people that look better, in my opinion, that aren't all like weird looking, they're just kind of the same, and they don't really have anything cool about them. Just these little small things that really don't matter. And the ending isn't really memorable. They also make a lot of Assassin's Creed. Personally, I didn't really like the transition to RPG. Mainly because it's hard to get into, right? You play the old Assassin's Creeds, like Unity or just Brotherhood, stuff like that. You're used to the like the normal feel about it, right? It just feels natural. But then the role play, like the RPGs, they have the roles, they have all this fighting, all these like perks and like abilities you can get. It's hard to get used to. And I didn't really like Origins for that. I played Origins, I didn't beat it. And I also played Odyssey, but I didn't beat it either. And I think that's where the role RPG comes into problem. You can play it and get through a lot of the game just doing normal missions. You don't have to do these annoying side quests that you just randomly find. But then you get to these certain parts in the game where you have to be like level 50 and you're only level 40. You have to grind. You have to grind just to be able to have a chance to do this one mission. And just for the level recommendation to get higher. And I don't know about Valhalla, but I'm pretty sure it had the same problem. In Assassin's Creed, I know there are going to be a lot of new games about Assassin's Creed coming out. According to Ubisoft on their Instagram. I think they're doing Code Red, and then I don't know if that's going to be a mobile game or like the ones that were only left to right. But I know they're making Assassin's Creed Mirage, which is based in Baghdad, I think. Which I think would be pretty cool. It kind of has like gives off that like Ezio vibe. And with a little bit of Origins. So I really like that idea. I just hope it's executed well. And I hope it's not too much of an RPG. Because Valhalla and Odyssey, like, I can get Origins being the Assassin's Creed, but how do they connect to the Brotherhood, right? Odyssey, like, you're literally a gladiator. Like, you're no assassin. Like, you start assassinating people, like, in, like, a cult. But, like, they're just targets, right? I think Assassin's Creed isn't just assassinating people. It's assassinating people that are enemies of the Brotherhood. And so it's hard to be hyped up for these games. Because, like, in Far Cry 6, it's an alright game, not the best. They made Far Cry 5. Loved it. An amazing game, but then they dropped back down. It's like, gaming's in such a weird spot. Where a game, it's like a gamble. So you can either be hyped up for this game, have high expectations, and you might get let down or you might not. But then you might buy the game without looking at reviews because you're so excited to play it. And then you play it and you're like, well, fuck. This shit sucks. I thought I'd give it 4 hours, but now I can't return it. So it's quite difficult to enjoy a lot of new games, for sure. That doesn't mean give up hope on video games. I think a lot of gaming companies are bound to make good games. And there's a lot of good games for sure coming out. I'm hoping Batman Arkham Knights or Gotham Knights, sorry. I hope it's a good game. I really do. Just being able to play as Jason Todd, Batgirl, Robin, and Nightwing, it brings back the kid inside of me that loves Batman, that loves the thrill of just being able to be a superhero. But it's still scary to think about that it could just be a bad game. They're not all bad. I know the Marvel Spider-Man 2 is coming out sometime in 2023, along with the Wolverine game. And I'm pretty hyped up for those. They're both Insomniac made, I'm pretty sure. And I loved Marvel Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man Miles Morales. 100% completed both games. See, and you find these little gold nuggets in the abyss of so much bad, I guess. And it's really sad to see that a lot of games are cash grabs rather than the enjoyment of their fan base, because these games really started from nothing, right? I mean, these companies started from nothing, and they made games that people loved, that people could truly enjoy. And it's like, for an example, Left 4 Dead. They made Back 4 Blood. Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, really good games. It was really precise on the gore. It was very detail orientated. You could see body parts, dismemberment. And then Back 4 Blood, it's really just the same thing over and over again, the same missions. I mean, Left 4 Dead had the same type of feel, but I feel like it was just so much more fun. But yeah, Back 4 Blood, and literally I hate the game now, because like I seen someone stream it and that's all they streamed, and it's like I watched it because like I just wanted to. It's just like, for what? For what? Back 4 Blood is not good. Like, it really isn't. It's just the same thing repeated over and over again. I don't see how there's enjoyment in that. But I do have hope for games. I still hop on older games like Terraria and Stardew Valley. I've been playing that recently with my boy Juicy. They call him Juicy G in the streets. But yeah, Terraria, Stardew Valley. I play Fortnite a little bit. I don't really like the new season, the Chrome season. It's stupid. The Chrome? I don't know. And then I don't play Fall Guys anymore. That game kind of got boring. I played it too much. And I don't even really play like games like GTA anymore. It's just like these really good games. It sucks because you replay these really good games because these newer games aren't the best. And then when you play these older games, you play them so much you get burnt out, and then you're just like, well, they're just like the rest. So yeah, I do have hope for gaming, but until companies start caring more about the people rather than the money, I don't see much hope. But yeah, so maybe gaming will change. But until then, read a review, check it out first. Don't buy it. Don't pre-order. Pre-ordering is stupid. Don't pre-order. I pre-ordered Ghost Recon, the newest one that came out. It's not Wildlands. It was like Breaking Point or something like that. I don't remember. I pre-ordered it, and it was not that great of a game. And I played it a lot, but I like the details in it. That's like years back though. But yeah, don't pre-order games. Always do your research when they come out, and let other people buy them for you first, and play it a little bit before you play it, and then you're the one that's like, damn, I regret that purchase. Anyway, have a good day. Bye.